Alright, so today I will be showing you guys my process for how I edit my pictures I take. So I'll start off by opening Adobe Bridge. This is what the program I use to call through all of my pictures, just sort them from the thousands I take initially to what I want to actually edit. So what I'm doing here is I'm opening my folder that I dropped all of my pictures in straight from camera, and then I'm making a filter of unrated pictures only, so that as I go through and rate the pictures, they're only the ones I want show up at the end. So here you see me going through, calling all the pictures. If I like the picture, I want to edit it, I will click number 1 on my keyboard, and that will star it with 1 star, and I will use that at the end to have all my pictures sorted so I can edit them. As I'm going through, you can see that sometimes you'll see it zoomed in on some of them. That's just me checking the focus, see how focused they are, if I want to keep them even worth editing. So here you can see that I'm going to my filter to make it show 1 or more stars, and from there I know that these are the pictures I am going to want to import into Lightroom to actually edit. So what I do next is I go into my desktop, to my pictures folder, and I'll find my basketball folder that I made, and I'll create a new folder called To Edit. For some reason this is just what I've done for all my pictures, and then I will drop all these pictures I just called through in Adobe Bridge and copy and paste those into this To Edit folder, so I have everything sorted for when I get into Adobe Lightroom. Here I just go through Control A, Control C, Control V, copy them all into that folder. Now I am going to open up Adobe Lightroom. So once I get into Adobe Lightroom, my first step is to actually import the pictures so I have the correct pictures to edit. Right now you see pictures from a previous game I took, so I'm going to look inside my operating system, my OS right here, and go through all these subfolders till I can get to that To Edit folder which I previously created to edit all my pictures. So as you can see, I found that girls basketball folder. This contains every picture I took, the thousands of pictures I took, but I want to get the ones that I put in the To Edit folder, so there you go. I click the little subfolder arrow, and then I will make sure all those are checked and import those into Adobe Lightroom, and then I will click the Develop tab at the top to start editing. So initially I just messed with the exposure a little bit. This is very temporary, just to see what everything's looking like, see what the auto looks like. But my first main step that I typically will do is once I get the exposure to a decent level, I will go to the white balance, and from there I'll click the eyedropper, and I'll try to pick an area that I feel like is supposed to be perfect white, and I will go through and use the eyedropper to make all those with an auto white balance. This isn't perfect, and as you will see later, I will go back and adjust all of my white balance manually just to make sure it's more accurate, but this helps me to just get through a quick base of what I want them to look like something. So right now it's just a big time lapse of me going through and doing that. So here you can see that I found a white balance that I'm actually pretty happy with, and since the lighting was the same throughout the whole game, I make sure I copy that white balance, and what I'm going to go to now is just speed up the process. I'm going to Control V and copy that white balance from that picture onto the rest of the pictures, including the ones I previously did with auto, just to make sure they all have the same white balance as I go into editing them with the exposure and cropping. So now that I am done with that white balance section, I am on to the next step in my personal process of editing, which is cropping. So I will go through each picture individually. I will start by hitting the auto angle to try to level the horizon, which it normally does it pretty well automatically. Sometimes I'll have to do it manually, but auto normally works pretty well. And then I will go through and crop the pictures to what I like. I will zoom in, see if I crop too much, if there's too much noise, how it's looking. So I will go through and crop each of those pictures, and here's a time lapse that cuts down the process that it takes to go through all these pictures and crop them. It can be a pretty tedious process, but this is when you really start to see your pictures come together. There, so now I am done with that process of cropping. So now that I'm done with cropping and white balance, I'm going to move towards the exposure and just adjusting some more of the presence, clarity, and some of the saturation, color, fixing the color. Then I'm just going to do all those things. So what I will do is I will go through, here you see I am adjusting the noise a little bit, sharpening it, lowering the noise reduction, whatever I need to do to make the picture look what I'm looking for with these specific images. What I will try to do is I will try to find a base level that will work well for all of the images. And once I have that done, I will copy and paste that specific base layer onto the rest of the pictures, and then I will go through individually in just each one as I like. Here you can see I am holding, when you see the black and white show up, I am holding the Alt key as I adjust the slider, which is isolating the so if it's the radius, it just isolates the radius so I can see what specifically I am adjusting when I am changing those sliders. I always want to make sure I have removed chromatic aberration and enable profile corrections turned off. Those are just two little things that they're not always turned on, but automatically just keep those on and they help your image in slight little ways. So here you can see that I have my base image done, so I'm going to select the certain categories that I want to. And since I already went through and adjusted the white balance, I am not going to select that. Now I have my base layer done. I'm going to copy those settings. I'm going to go through and paste those onto each individual image. Here you see the time lapse of that. So now I created a little preset too that just helps speed up the process even more, which you can see on the left side of the screen. Now I'm going through and just doing some more individual adjustments to help get the images even closer to what I want their final to look like. You can see here at the end I'm going through a lot of just adjusting some contrast, some minor things to help the images to pop and get to the final look that I want them to be. So now I am done with all my pictures, and it is finally time to export the pictures. I will go to export, and then here I will choose my export location. I will search through all my folders again, get to my pictures folder, my girls basketball to edit, and then I'll create a new folder called final. Then this is where I know that these will be my final pictures. And then after that, I really leave all the settings the same, and it's time to export. If you want to, you can add a watermark, but I typically don't. If I want to do that, I'll do it in a third-party program. But yeah, now it's time to export. I'll time-lapse this process really quick, and boom, that's how I edit my pictures in Lightroom.